Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on the Pepetoe podcast. I hope you're well, and I hope if you're in the UK in particular, enjoying the sunshine we've been having recently. I think it has helped my mood quite a lot. And we always talk about seasonal depression, and I think most of us do experience that, which isn't the best. And I do envy those people that, I've seen quite a few people that I know, like friends of friends on Instagram, who do ski seasons in the winter to beat that seasonal depression, doing something they enjoy over such a dark period of time. I envy those people that can just go do that. Obviously, I can't just do that, and plus I hate skiing, so I wouldn't do that. But those kind of things is just so important for those people. Or I'm hoping at some point when I do go freelance, like completely in a few years' time with my social media stuff, I can just go sit on a beach in Bali and do that. I don't think that's very realistic. I don't think I'll be able to do that, but I'm hoping I can, because I do understand that so much. And now that we're in spring, I do see the importance of getting sunlight, getting out places, and I think I've said this quite a lot, even in the winter. I know in the UK it's grey, there is no sun, but there is a little hint of it. I'm not saying when it's raining, but I'm saying get out for a walk, all of this. But there's no point me talking about this. It's April, nearly May, it's springtime. So yeah, I hope you guys are feeling a little bit more energetic, joyful, any other positive adjective you want to use there, but a little bit better, I think, as well. I'm going to start off by giving maybe some little life updates. I mean, there's one big one that I do want to discuss with you, and it's not going to be the main point of this episode, as you can probably see from the title, but it is worth me saying this to you, and it's actually quite scary to admit. As some of you might know, if you've been following my socials, or I think I mentioned it a couple times here, I am supposed to be, I've signed up to run Edinburgh Half Marathon at the end of May, with a friend as well, and I'm running it for Beat, and I think I have mentioned it. I've definitely put it in the show notes, etc. I'm just giving link and all that on my blog, on my socials, all of that. But I've got to the point where, and I've discussed a lot of you with like my exercise journey recently, having 6 weeks off, no running, all of that, and it's been so hard to get back into running. And last week I did smash. Well, what did it say? Sunday? This week, Monday, I did smash a 10k, and I was so excited, so excited. But yesterday, so bearing in mind I had 6 weeks off because of my health and also my knee injury as well, needed some time off completely. And I did do that, and yeah, I played the odd bit of hockey, but anyway, I've been fine. My knee hasn't really been playing up over the last few runs that I've come back to. It's more I can't do it, or my asthma's playing up, something like that. But I did go for a run yesterday. I have learnt my lesson twice now. This has happened where I've hurt my knee. One, do not run angry. That is really, really stupid to do. That's what I did yesterday, and that's what I did the time before. And then also don't try and sprint down a hill, because it's not going to help, especially if you have bad knees anyway. That is how you damage it. Years and years and years ago, when I was about 14, 15, I did my first DV expedition, my only one. I was walking down a hill, DVs all hilly, etc. And that's when I first did my knee. Best part of 10 years ago, you know what I mean? So it's come back again and again. And yesterday I went for a run, not great. And I have just over a month until I'm meant to be doing this half marathon. And there's just been so many things over the last 6 months of training that it's become apparent that I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, which sucks. But it might just be I just rest until the week before, smash out a couple runs and just do it. If that means I have to stop halfway through, if I have to, just do 5k and then my knee's fucked or I just can't do it, then at least I've tried. I don't want it to be that I just don't do it completely. But at the moment I'm like, not great. So that's the main update for you. I will update you on my socials what my plan is, because also between now and then I do have a few hockey matches. It's like, do I play that? Do I not? I need to go see a physio. Luckily I know someone who's a physio, which might be quite helpful in this situation, at least to kind of get a diagnosis, because it's ACL, meniscus, something along those lines. I did get it checked out once, and it was kind of inconclusive, and it's not surgical. I know that much, like it's not that bad, but it's still, I can't run, I can't play hockey, and I've had time off to heal that, and it's still playing up, which is just not what I want when I'm meant to be doing 21 kilometers. Like, it's not a short distance. And also being hard on myself that I was running 15 and 18 Ks before my break in February, and Now I can't run a 10k without stopping like 5 times, but you know, if I have to stop and walk the half marathon, at least I'm doing it, you know, it's for charity, at least I'm showing up, I'm doing it, and not to be like no pressure on myself with it. I've really taken that off me. But yeah, it's really disappointing. I'm not like disappointed in myself. I don't think it's that. It's just I'm so pissed off because I've put so much effort into this and raised so much money, done so much awareness for it. And I've really tried to put my issues aside so I can do this for a charity that has been so, so beneficial to me and so many other people. And yeah, I just want to give back. And, you know, the money I've raised, you know, it's not going to be like I tell people who've donated, I actually can't do it. I don't think they're going to be annoyed, you know what I mean? But it's still that feeling that they might be, or I'm not actually doing it and they've donated £100, for example. But yeah, it's really, really annoying me. And that kind of does bring me on to the point of this episode. And I want to talk about forgiveness, and I feel like it's going to be a bit broader than that. But I have recently bought a book called, and you might have heard of it, I have heard of it, I've just never got my hands on it, called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie Mackery. I think it's Mackery or Mackesy. I can't actually read it. But I have been seeing someone who recommended the book to me, and this person is all into self-help, psychology, anything that has a meaning to it. And I love that about this person. It's really making me, I don't know, it's making me realize like there's more to life than just black and white. It's everything has a deeper meaning to it. Might sound a bit what's the word, I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but it might sound a little bit like Away with the Fairies. No, like everything does have a deeper meaning to it. And I feel like at the start of this podcast journey, a lot of what I was saying was a lot of deeper meaning, and now it is just me talking about my life. But I mean, that's kind of the rebrand I've done, as I mentioned last episode. It is just going to be more me chatting to you. As I said, I'm going to get some hockey stuff, but I do like doing these episodes where, you know, I pull a quote out of a book, or I've seen something, I've read an article, seen a new theory come up on TikTok or something like that. Like, if it's to do with the universe, like law of attraction, all of those things, like I do like doing those episodes because I do believe in them. And sometimes this reminds me that, as I said, there is more to life than just like living your life. There's so much meaning behind it with everything you see, everything you do. And if you believe in that or not, it's up to you, you know. And I'm not like a firm believer that everything has a meaning, everything happens for a reason. Like, I do believe that, but not, oh, I crashed my car today, something must have been wanting to happen, but that stops it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe that to that extent. I do believe, you know, if you are stuck in traffic, maybe you were going to get on a bus that crashed. I don't know. Like, I do believe to that kind of extent, but not that everything has a reason to it. Sometimes you just smash your coffee mug on the floor. You know, sometimes you just do it. Sometimes it just happens, and that's fine. But I do want to read through a couple quotes from this book that I've picked out. Like, I said to this person as well, like, I love to annotate books, and usually I write in the book, but if you know this book, I've got the hardback version. It is beautiful. It's basically a story. I feel like it could be, is it a kid's book? Is it not? It's one of those things. Like, I feel like, I don't know, Sophie's Choice, is that a kid's book? Is it a philosophy book? It's kind of both. I think it's a similar thing. I mean, I know Sophie's Choice is more philosophical, but kids do read that as well. It's one of those kind of things. But the illustrations in it is absolutely beautiful. So I don't want to write in it. I've got some like little post-it notes and stickers and stuff that I just write in it so that I can take them out and it'd be like a really pristine, nice book. But I said to the person who told me to buy it that when I'm done with it, I'll give it back to him and he can read through all the little notes, which, yeah, I feel like we've already bonded over that. I saw him last week and I brought the book with me and we were just bonding over it and having some deep conversations about it. But I am going to start off with, and this was the very, very, very first one I saw. It's right in the middle of the book. So with books like this, like, it is a story, but I do just tend to use it for quotes. I will read it at some point as a story, but for now I'm just trying to find quotes, like when I'm in a space where I'm okay, like I'm in quite a good space at the moment, but I need to make sure I continue on in that space, and stuff like this really does help. Like, I've not picked up a book in so long, and hearing about this book, I was like, right, I literally ordered it. As soon as we had the conversation, I was on Amazon. When we were on the phone, I was like, I'm on Amazon, I'm ordering it now. So yeah, but this quote is, and as I was saying, forgiveness. This is the very first one I want to talk about. And if you've been listening to the pod since October time, when I went through quite a lot of shit that I caused, I guess. I'm not going to talk about it, but this did bring me back to that time, and me and this person did have a conversation about that, and he understood why I picked this quote. Quote is, and this quote is everywhere. It's not just in this book, but yeah. Often the hardest person to forgive is yourself. And I wrote the note in it: learn to let go of the past and stop being so hard on yourself. That is, I think, if I was to get a tattoo again, which I will, I mean, I've got loads of ideas for a tattoo, but I would love that as a tattoo. Or if not that, my phone screensaver, if I'm not going to go that extreme. But I think that quote is so powerful. It's a very, very basic quote. I'm not saying, like, oh my God, this book is amazing. It just brings so many quotes in. All these quotes are like very, very generic quotes. But I've learned a lot recently that if you can't forgive yourself, you can't forgive other people. You know what I mean? Like, if you've done something bad, I say this quite a lot, the one person who is in your life forever is you. Other people come and go, even family, like, people come and go. You're stuck with yourself. So if you can't forgive yourself, one, how are you going to go on in life living and being happy or anything like that? And two, how are you going to learn to forgive other people if you're so hard on yourself? But then I think it's also the other way around. Like, you can be such a forgiving person and such a nice person and a great friend, but then you're not that to yourself. I think that also comes into it. And I think I'm like that quite a lot. I mean, forgiveness for me is quite a touchy subject. Like, I don't know if I do forgive people. I think it's a bit 50-50 sometimes with that. I believe that everyone makes mistakes. I believe everyone deserves second chances, but sometimes you can just be done with someone. Doesn't mean you've not forgiven them, though. You know, you can forgive and forget, or forgive and not forget, whichever way around you want to look at it. But this quote really did, you know, it literally, as soon as I opened the book, that was the first page I saw, and I was like, shit, okay, it's going to be one of those books, isn't it, where I'm crying all over it. Salty tears all over the book when I give this back to this person. That's not going to be good. But no, I really, really hope that, I think this is frontal lobe development in my eyes, when you learn that mistakes you make in your life doesn't make you who you are, and it's going to hurt for a little bit because, you know, you've hurt someone else or you've hurt yourself or whatever way it is for you. If you can't forgive yourself, then, like, you literally can't move on from it. I think that's also a really important point. Like, you can't move on from it, and that's going to follow you everywhere, and it's going to be something that comes up in friendships, relationships, work life, personal life. Like, everything is going to keep coming up again and again, even if it was just a small little thing that happened, whether you did something, someone else did something. If you don't forgive them, or forgive yourself, you miss out on that trust for, if it's a person, if it's yourself. And trust is so important to have, obviously, in friendships, in relationships, with family, people at work, I guess, as well. But most importantly, with yourself. Like, if you cannot trust yourself because you can't forgive yourself, you're stuck. You're completely stuck. And all you're going to be doing is living your life as basic as possible. Like, you will not learn. This actually sounds quite threatening, but you will not learn to that be okay on your own. Like, being okay not having someone around you, or the opposite. You won't learn to absolutely fall into a relationship because you can't trust the other person, or you can't trust yourself in that. And it just becomes this whole thing that life just becomes way harder than it is. And I know, trust me, I know how hard it is to forgive people. And, you know, I am on the right lines to forgiveness for a lot of things, a lot of people at the moment. And I'm not saying you have to text that person or whatever and phone them and meet with them and say, I forgive you. I'm not doing like a 5-step program here. Like, you don't have to do that. But whether you write it in your journal, whether you say it out loud, whether you just simply let it go. Until you forgive the situation, the person, yourself, you can't let the situation go. And as I said, it will follow you around for a while. And trust me, I know that. I really, really know that. You have to learn to let it go. And if it's something that happened a while back, it's either two things. It's either way easier than you think it's going to be. You're just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not thinking about this anymore. Let it go. Or it's going to be like, you need therapy in order to let it go. It's that difficult. It's that hard. Don't know why you can't let it go. But there will be a day where you just go, as I just said, fuck this. I'm not letting this drag me down anymore. Again, no matter what the situation is, no matter what it is that you still can't let go of, one day it will just be like, you know what, I'm over this. Let's move on. And that's what I think forgiveness truly does look like for yourself in particular. It's that one day, like, you know what, let's let this go. Come on, let's stop being hard on ourselves. Let's stop bringing everyone down because of it as well, because it affects other people. If you're carrying around this one thing with you your whole life and not forgiving whatever it is for that, it brings down other people. It affects your relationships. It affects everything. And just learn to choose yourself and say, you know what, no, this doesn't serve me anymore. I keep thinking about this. Why? It happened 3 years ago, whatever. Let it go. It's fine. Just let it go. The next quote that I want to speak to you guys about is something that does really hit home for me. I think more so than this next, the last one, but this one is a bit deeper, and it is stuff that I do talk about a lot and something that I am quite open with. But this part in particular, I don't think I've ever spoken about. I think I have, but not as deep as potentially I'm going to go. I don't know yet. I'm trying to think of the best way to kind of phrase it to you. But I'll read the quote out first, and then we'll have a think together about it. The quote is, "What is the bravest thing you've ever said?" asked the boy. "Help," said the horse. And oh my God, like, I think just reading that. Also, if you don't know, like, it is about a boy and a horse and a fox and a mole. If you hadn't got that from the title. And those are just the characters, and each character presents like a different type of person, and they go through different things together, and it's a really beautiful book. But the note I wrote in it is, "It's never a weakness to ask for help, it's a strength." And I'm closing that page just because I don't want to look at it anymore. But I think what people don't talk about enough is, well, people do talk about it, I do see it, but not on the deeper level, I feel like. And I don't think I will go into it, I'm not sure. But asking for help for anything, and I don't just mean like with my eating disorder, like it's not just big things like that, it's with anything really. And there is such a stigma against asking for help. I think especially it's prevalent with men as well, and I'm not going to speak about that because I don't know how that is for men. Like I do like when women do talk about that and raise awareness for that, but I'm not in that situation. I can't speak for men. I can't say, oh my God, it's so hard for them to ask for help because it's this whole taboo for them and blah blah blah. I can say that and make you guys aware of that if you're not already, but I think a lot of people are aware of that. But I don't want to tread on people's toes and say that because I'm not a man. I don't know how it is. I've not been in that situation. I've been in relationships where, you know, the guy I'm with or whoever does ask for help from me, and I see how much it does take out of them. But again, I can't speak for them. I don't know what's going on in their head. So I'll speak for myself. I think that's all I can really do here. But asking for help for anyone at any point in their life, from like asking for help for yourself, for anyone, to anyone, whether it's professional, a partner, a friend, a family member, a teacher at school, a colleague, whoever it is, it can be the most scary thing you're ever going to have to go through in life. And it is. And it sucks because a lot of the time, so I mean, for me with my eating disorder didn't want me to ask for help. So when I finally found my voice back, because again, I mean, I do share this quite a lot. An eating disorder is another voice in your head. Or, I mean, people describe it differently, but this is how I describe it. It's like you are living with two people. And it took me a while in recovery to learn that is still me. That is still my voice. It's not another person in my head. But that is how it feels most of the time. And very, very quickly, that voice just takes over. And that's the only person in your head. And it's like you're pushed down into the tiniest corner of your brain and you can't speak. You're locked away. Like, you're still there, but you just can't break through. And bit by bit you do, and eventually you break through to be like, I want help. And even during that conversation, I mean, again, I can't speak for everyone, but during that conversation I had with my mum, and then a teacher, and then a professional, and then more professionals and therapists, and each time it was hard because each time the ED was like, no, we can't do this. And if you've been in something similar where you've had to go to a professional, a doctor, then another doctor, then an ED therapist, then another therapist, and like all these different people, it's so draining to have to keep talking about it. And at some point, like, your brain just goes, no, we don't want to do this anymore. Whether that's your actual voice being like, I'm exhausted, or it is the ED voice going, no, we've gone too far here. We don't want to talk about it again. We're going to shut down. But during that first conversation, that you have with, your mum or whoever it is, it can be, it is the scariest thing, I think, or one of the scariest things that I have done, because during that conversation, your voice has just poked through just enough to ask for help. And if anything in that conversation does not go in your favour, for example, if your mum goes, we need to take you to the GP, your ED voice is just pushing you further and further down. And most of the time, if you're asking for help from a family member or whoever it is, they don't know what you're going through. I was very, very fortunate that at the same time, pretty much almost exactly the same time as I was going through it towards asking for help, my mum was training to be a counsellor, and then she was also training to be ED certified as well, to do therapy for people with eating disorders. I mean, any therapist can, but to get that extra qualification, and I was very fortunate with that. So she was very aware. Only recently, though, with doing more training, has she become properly aware that in a conversation I might scream, have a tantrum, even at the ripe age of 22. I might shut down, I might do that and push people away. And that's not me. I mean, I've had a lot of people in my life say, it is still you. You can't, you have to take accountability for it. It's still you. And I get why people say that, but also it's not me. It's a different part of me, a very volatile part of me that causes everything. And it causes, recently I've learned that eating disorders latch onto every emotion you have. So I will say this, I'm going to do a different episode about this, but this episode is just going to be me talking about different things, by the way. I have thought of a different analogy for an eating disorder at the moment, and eating disorders do act on obsessive, compulsive, impulsive, I think those three are the main ones. So the OCD part of it and the impulsive part of it. It latches onto all of that. And how I think of it, if you've watched the film Inside Out, right? Different characters, different emotions. I actually love this analogy. I'm hoping that I can explain it right. Imagine, and this can be also not just anorexia, but obviously all eating disorders, addiction in particular as well. Maybe depression, maybe anxiety, but that's part of it as well, though. But talking about anorexia here, again, I can't speak for all of it, but imagine it's another character in there. It's not an emotion, but we'll pretend like it is just another character in there, not an emotion. She is, and we'll call her Anna for anorexia, she is the toxic best friend, right? We've all had that person in our lives, not even a best friend, but that toxic person at school, for example, who later on you learn uses people, latches onto people. At this time of the year, they're like, no, I want to be popular in this group because they're hosting loads of parties, or they're playing loads of sport, or they latch onto people to use them, And we all know that person. There's always that person at school or even at work or whoever. They're very toxic, they latch onto you and then just throw you away afterwards, okay? This is exactly what an eating disorder does. In the brain of Inside Out, in Riley's head, in your head, whoever it is, and this is a daily thing, throughout the day, it's a cycle. We'll go through each emotion. So if anxiety pops up, oh my God, I'm anxious, oh my God, it's my turn to shine, or however it really works in the film. Anorexia will also pop up and go, oh my God, hi, let's be friends for the day. And it will latch on to the anxiety and use it to make you do different things. And it will use that and if depression comes up or sadness comes up, if even being happy comes up, and then you've also got, let's imagine you've got impulsivity, obsession, what's compulsive compulsion, I don't know, they all come up as well. And that is a daily thing, they're latched on, handcuffed to anorexia, right? And it's a daily thing. What I'm trying to say is anorexia latches onto everything. So if you're going through, and that's why it's so difficult for example, I'll do a very generic one, I am stressed at work. Anorexia will latch onto that and be like, oh, hi stress, nice to meet you. We're going to use you to make sure she doesn't eat because she's stressed and it's her coping mechanism. Or, oh my God, she's really, really happy, there's something life-changing. No, we're going to pull fear into that and make it really scary for her. It's like the control center in your head, unfortunately. And it still is to this day. A lot of things I do can be controlled by that. But my voice, there's another person in my head now. It is me. All of this is me. It's all of it is in my head. It's all of my voice. But then that anorexia is a different kind of thing in there, controlling everything around that. And that's why asking for help is so hard. we are bringing it back to that topic. That's why it is hard, because it's not you asking for help sometimes, and that other voice is begging you not to ask for help because this is your coping mechanism. This is what makes you feel better right now, and it's so damn difficult to really understand how to get around that. It's never too late to ask for help. It's bloody scary, trust me, I know, but it's not gonna break you. It's going to be the strongest thing you've ever done. It might be difficult at that time to then go speak to professionals, to go get the help you really need. But the hardest bit is that first conversation with whoever you trust, whether it is a friend, a sister, a mum, someone at work, a teacher, whoever it is. It's that very first conversation. All you need to say is, I need help. And you don't necessarily, in that conversation, need to explain why. You just need to get it out there. Even if it's a text message to your mum if you're at uni, or if you're living away from home, just a phone call, a text message. You don't have to see them in person. Reach out to a therapist. It's so hard to do. Like, I remember when I started reaching out to therapists when I first started, it was so scary because my mum tried to drag me to therapists when I was younger, when I was going through it all, but I wasn't ready. And sometimes people say it doesn't matter if you're not ready, we're going to get you help anyway. I think you do have to be ready and do it off your own back, unless obviously you're very, very ill, or something's going to happen. But you have to do it off your own back and do it for yourself, not other people. And that's what my mum learned very, very quickly, that I had to be the one to say, no, I need help. I'm so done with this now. I want to be free from my eating disorder. I want to live my life. Yeah, you don't change straight away after one therapy session. I'm 4 years down the bloody road and I'm still struggling to this day, but asking for help was the best thing I ever did, because God knows where I'd be right now if I didn't. I think it would have been hard to carry on the way I was because of my support system. Like, it's such a big support system, which I'm so, so grateful for. But I know some people don't have that. So this is me saying, like, please, please, please reach out for help. I know it's difficult, but it's just those words, I need help. Once those words have come out, and maybe you're a stubborn person, maybe you don't like asking for help, maybe you're so independent, but at some point you're going to need someone. You're going to need, whether that is a trusted person or a professional, at some point in your life you are going to need someone to be there for you, even if you're that proud or you don't want to ask for help or whatever it is. You're going to have to at some point. So let that person help you. If they're pushing you, it means they care. And that's what I've learned as well. If someone is like to you, it might feel like they're on your back all the time about things. They care and they want you to get better. It might be smothering, it might be too much for you. Voice that. Don't get angry at it. I wish I could go back and not be so angry about it and really, say thank you a lot more than I did. And now I do, and now I still push people away, but I know that I'm doing it, and I do go back to it and go, right, I need to look at this again. They're not trying to, they're not out to get me. They are trying to help, and everything they're doing is just coming from a good place in their heart. No one I know that I've been around has tried to make it worse. People do help, and I'm quite a good example of that, asking for help and having that support system around you. Even if you have to build it up, if you don't have a big one right now, you might have to build it up. Do it. You have to do it, because you need people around you. I think, is it just America? I don't know. It's probably here too. Like, sometimes you're not allowed to have a surgery or something if you don't have a support system around you, like to drive you home after a surgery or do that. It's the same thing with your mental health. Like, you need that support with you, whether that's the first appointment you take someone with you, even if you don't necessarily want to. Those first appointments you have talking about something that is really, really personal to you and really, really, and like you're still deep into it, like an eating disorder or whatever it is, you're going to need someone there for you. And yeah, it's just like going in for surgery, I think. And you can always relate physical health to mental health issues. Like, it's the same thing. If you have an injury, you're going to stop playing sport, aren't you? So, and you're going to ask for help. You're going to go see a physio. You're going to get an x-ray. You're going to do that. Why didn't we do that with our own mental health? Like, yeah, you can't put a band-aid on it. You can't put a cast over it. But that's what therapy is for. That's what talking is for. That's what having friends is for, I guess, is what I'm saying there. Moving on from that deep point now, I feel like you can hear it in my voice as well. I was getting very, very drained there. So sorry about that. End of the story, ask for help. It's not a weakness. It's never a weakness. It's a strength. Okay? That's how we can summarize that point now. Oh, anyway. Next one is slightly less deep. I mean, it's a very much like, what does this mean kind of point. But the quote is, the greatest illusion, said the mole, is that life should be perfect. And I am so for that point. I think a lot of us, and I did a whole series about life in your 20s, and I think we get to this point where we see so many examples of what a perfect life should be. Right now, I think 22, a lot of people I know have all moved down to London after university. They're with a boyfriend with a finance job so they can afford rent, and they're living life. They're out every weekend watching rugby, going to clubs, having after work drinks and all that. To an extent, though, I'm doing that. Like, I work in London, right, fine. But having that, they live with their boyfriend or they live with all the girls from school still, and that's their perfect life in London. I don't think that's really for me. Like, I live a after work pint and then I go and drive home. Like, that's what I do. I like that world, but then I'm so glad I'm not in that world. But that's like an example I keep seeing all over my Instagram from people from my school, people I know. And to me, like, yeah, that looks like a perfect life for now. But that's not everyone's perfect life, or people are off having another gap year, or I'm just trying to think what other people are doing my age. And I look at me and I'm on to my fourth job in 4 years, but I am successful and my life is how it is. I still live at home, okay, fine, but I'm 22 and there is no time frame for when you're supposed to move out. Like, people think straight after university you move out. Well, I dropped out of uni, so also that it's not perfect for me either, and all these things, all these pressures, and no, this is how you're supposed to live, this is how you're supposed to live, and there's so many different ways to do it, so many ways. And I've met so many people from so many different walks of life, and so many people, even in the job I've got now, all of us have got there in very, very different ways, whether that's uni, whether that was apprenticeships, whether that's just knowing people and landing the job, or being in the right place in the right time. We've all been in different situations to get the job that we're in at my company, and all of it, bottom line, is hard work and graft. Okay, all of it is that. And I surround myself with people who are like that. I surround myself with people who I know have, they're in this position, that they're in this successful position, and I judge success on not if they've got money, if they've got a good job, if they're stable, if they're happy, if they're in a good place in life. To me, that's successful, even if that's living at home or living alone or living with a partner, living with a friend, living in a house share. If they're in a stable place where they're like, okay, I'm happy, I'm okay with where I am, to me that's successful. To the next person, they might go, well, you still live at home and you're not saving money. Okay, well, I'm living my life the way I want to. To me, that is what a perfect life is. And those successful people, I think, people who, I mean, there is also that thing at the moment. We have kind of got past that, and I'm so glad people took the piss out of that. Remember that 5 a.m. video with the mouth tape, the ice on the face thing, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm glad we're over that. Like, the 5 a.m. millionaire club, successful. You don't need to get up at 5 a.m. to be successful. If you do, fine. If you go to the gym every day, fine. You don't have to do those things. And those day in the lives, those success videos, that's not why they're successful. Getting up at 5 does not make you successful. It might set you up for the day, fine, because you've got your self-care out the way, you've got your exercise out the way, you've done all that in the morning, but then you're going to be bloody tired all day at work. Trust me, I used to do that, and it's not fun. Like, if you can do that, that's absolutely fine, but that's not a perfect life. That's you putting yourself through quite a lot to earn some money. When you can earn money different ways, you can work a 9 to 5 job and be okay with that. Everyone's perfect life is very, very different, and I'm pretty sure if you ask anyone, it's going to be a different story each time. And maybe, I put that poll out on my Instagram, what is your perfect life? I feel like a lot of people would come back and say, as I said at the start of the episode, just be able to work on a beach all day long, freelancing, or not have to work, I've won the lottery. Or a lot of people will have those like very unrealistic perfect life images in their head. But then I think most people would also be like, you know what, I think my life's pretty all right now. Or a perfect life to me is having a stable job, finding a partner, maybe having kids, and living a comfortable life. I think to a lot of people that is their whole goal. And I think we're also moving away from the idea of having to find someone and be with someone, and we are moving away from that, and independent success is so much more important to a lot of people now, especially women as well. I think like career success is way more important than having a family, or we also want those things, but if we can balance them, I think that's the perfect life. And I really do think most people will agree with that. And that there is no formula to that. Like, yeah, you might think career, house, partner, kids, but there's no formula to get there, I think, is also what I'm trying to say. And, you know, you might not want kids, you might want dogs, you might not want a partner, you might just, you know, you might adopt on your own, or, you know what I mean? Like, people's lives look differently, and, you know, not everyone wants kids. I mean, I'm not sure that I want kids, to be honest with you. And my life is doing well at work. I think last year I was like, right, I'm going to focus so much on my career and get promoted every year and all this. If that happens based on my solid graft and my hard work, great. But I'm not going to kill myself every single day trying to get that promotion, trying to be better every day, I do those things anyway, you know, and I'm not going to put all that pressure on me every day so that all I'm focusing on is one thing. And I do tend to do that. I do tend to have, like, not in a faddy way, but more in, okay, right, I want to buck down now, buck up with work, whether it's my training for my half marathon, which I don't think is going to be possible now. But yeah, I guess you could call it faddy, but I go through these phases of, like, right, I'm career motivated for the next few months now. I'm really, like, absolutely getting down with that. But that is me all the time anyway. I am very career driven, and that is who I am. And I don't need to be putting that extra pressure on me. Like, I've been there, and then that's when you make mistakes, because there's so much pressure on you to do something and to say yes to all the extra projects, to go into the office more than, like, you do. And right now I've not been going to the office not nearly as much as I should be, because I'm going through stuff, and the way my output is, like, I can do that from home absolutely fine. You know, I don't have to come in for meetings, I don't have to do this. I do want to, trust me, I want to get back to going to London twice a week, because I do enjoy those things. It's not me being like, great, yes, I'm not going to London, it's such a long journey. No, I love doing those things. So to me, I think at different points in my life, success has looked differently, but it is always, for me, it is career driven. And my perfect life is to, yeah, manage a team, do that. And it might be sad that, you know, my perfect life is more job focused than anything. But also, I think perfect life to me is to be okay with what I have, you know, whether that is a great salary or a decent salary, or, again, interesting that I did go straight to money with that. Or I'm living in a decent house, not a mansion. With whatever I have, I don't know how my life's going to look in a year's time, 10 years' time. I don't know that. I don't know if I'm going to be with someone. I don't know if I'm going to be in the country. Like, I can't. I feel like 5 years ago, I left school. And it was that question of, how do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And back then I probably could have answered it, but that's now. And I feel like it's kind of how I imagined it, but not really. You know, I imagine myself living in a different country, first of all, not living at home with my parents still either. So a lot of things have changed. But if someone asked me now, like, 5 years' time, when I'm almost 30, I mean, in my head, like, maybe, I think the only thing that pops into my head is, I'd like to be married in 5 years' time. You know, I would. My goal since I was 18, or maybe even 16, I want to be married when I'm 25. That is not going to happen now. I'm nearly 23. That is not going to happen. And I do scare people off when I meet them and say, I want to be married when I'm 25, and it does scare them off. So I'm not saying that anymore. So if you are listening to this, pretend you didn't hear this. Anyway, but maybe that's the only goal I have in the 5 years. If it's not a goal, I'm like, maybe I will be. If I'm not, I don't really care either. But that is maybe the first image that pops into my head. But also being really successful at work, and just being stable, and more so, again, with my mental health, like, being in a place where I'm not gonna, if I do have kids, impact their behaviors with food or exercise. That is my lifelong goal, I think, and that is my recovery motivation. Like, I don't want other people to copy my behaviors and pick up on things, because, you know, I did that with my mum, and, you know, it got me. I mean, it's not my mum's fault at all, but I picked up on a little habit she did, and was like, okay, she doesn't eat breakfast, cool. Okay, she doesn't have snacks, okay, cool. Like, you know, like, you do pick up on your parents' behaviors and all that. So my goal, I think, I won't say it's the perfect life, but a huge goal of mine is to make sure, if I do have kids in the future, will not be anytime soon, but if I did, I don't want them to have to go through what I did, or pick up on that. You know, they might still develop an eating disorder, but not from my doing. That might sound a bit selfish. I mean, I hope they don't anyway, but I don't want my behaviors to rub off on other people, because I guess how impressionable now kids are, especially teenagers, especially teenage girls. So yeah, my perfect life isn't necessarily textbook. It's not, you know, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I might still be living at home in 5 years' time. You know what I mean? And maybe that is, at that point in my life, that is the perfect life. And right now, I'm not living a bad life at all. I have a social life, I have friends, I do sports. Well, at the moment I can't. I have a good life. And right now it is the perfect life, because what other life would I be leading? I think that is another way to think about it. Your life right now is perfect because that is your life, you know? And what does perfect mean? I mean, as I introduced this quote, like, what does perfect mean? What does it mean? To me, I think, as I've been saying, it's successful, it's stable, it's a life that anyone could live, but for you, that is your dream life, and that's okay with however that looks like to you, whether that is living in London with all your friends after uni, or whether that's still living at home or moving out on your own, or whatever it is. But yeah, that's how I view a perfect life in a very, very short answer. I feel like I think I'm going to end this episode here, because I want to read this book like properly back to front, and maybe do another one with maybe a part two with different quotes in it. But those were the three that so far have really stood out to me, and they are very, very different things. If I go back to the point of, I don't think I actually did explain that. The point of forgiveness, I think that is the biggest one here. Asking forgiveness is so important, as I said, like for running my half marathon. Like, am I going to be able to do it? If I can't do it, forgive myself for it. It might sound like a very cheesy example, but I think I will be very hard on myself if I don't do it, or I can't complete it, or whatever. I'm going to do it. If I have to walk it, I've got to walk it. If I've got to strap an ice pack to my knee, or take loads of ibuprofen and freeze spray and heat spray and all that beforehand, fine. But I want to do it. It's a challenge for me. It's not gone the way I want it to go, but it's 21 kilometres. It's 4 5Ks and a little bit more. Right now it is difficult, and I do only have a month, and I'm very, very busy during this month as well, which is really, really difficult. I actually, on that, I have booked a 10K 2 weeks before my half marathon, like a 10K race, doing it slowly, getting into the race kind of mentality, like, i.e. like running around other people. Apparently on the day though, I'm not talking about forgiveness now, am I? Apparently on the day, it's, you are so adrenaline focused that you do just do it. And because you're around so many other people, everyone's supporting you, you have people like watching, and everyone's there, like, it's a different atmosphere to you, like, pushing yourself in training on your own as well. It's very, very different. So if that 10K goes okay, like, when is that? Right, it's the 19th of April now. 3 weeks time, it's the 10th of May. 3 weeks time, I think. And if I can do that, I can do a half marathon. I mean, a 10K is not a half marathon at all, but you know what I mean. And that's my goal. But again, and I will go back to forgiveness, if I can't, okay, fine, whatever. I'm still going to have a nice weekend up in Edinburgh with my family. It's going to be nice either way. It's going to be a good holiday. It's a bank holiday. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I will forgive myself for that. I might not sound like I am right now. Either way, I will. And that is a promise I'm keeping to myself. Asking for help. I mean, it also ties into this. Asking for help, okay, right? Physio, I need help. Doctor, I need help. Mum, don't let me run. That's you helping me. Stuff like that. And then the point I just mentioned about perfect life, success. Life doesn't have to be perfect. And right now, the one thing that's not perfect is my knee and my half marathon training. It all relates. I think all these 3 points you can relate to the exact thing you're going through right now. I think keep those things with you, and maybe journal about it. Maybe have a good think about it. This book I will link in the show notes on Amazon. It is such a good book, and I'm so, so happy that I can read this and enjoy it and pull out so many interesting quotes from it. As I said, it's not the most like mind-blowing quotes of all time, you know what I mean? Like the very generic quotes we've probably all heard before, but it is very much worth a read. So I'm going to read this probably tonight, actually, with a cup of tea. I'm actually going to meet my friend in Bristol not Bristol, we're going to Gloucester Keys for lunch and a big catch up, because there's a lot of things happening in both of our lives right now. We don't see each other that often at all, so we're going to have a big catch up and yeah, see how that goes, and come back for a roast dinner and have a lovely evening with no pub. I am not going to the pub at the moment. I want to chill. If I want to have a drink at home, I'll have a drink at home. The bank account is screaming at me. So yeah. Anyway, hope you guys did enjoy this slightly different episode. And if there's any of the books you want me to go through, or, I might do a book series, because there's so many I've read that I could so talk about for hours. But yeah. And I am promising you a video podcast so soon. Now that the sun is shining, I think it'll be a lot easier to film and get good lighting and all that. And hockey season is over. My weekends are back. Yeah, there's Women's Six Nations on, but that's over soon. So like I have my weekends basically. Quite busy with content and all of that kind of stuff. My clients, my own content, all my hockey stuff. I am trying to figure out how to still make content when I'm not playing. I mean, I do have summer league that I'm dragging my parents to midweek because I need to be doing it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.